Hello, welcome to LMU Tri-State News. I'm Ashley Hurley. Thank you for joining us. Lincoln Memorial University Homecoming wrapped up this past Saturday with the Alumni Banquet, which closed several days of festivities. The Alumni Banquet and Award Ceremony were the last of the celebrations held in the dining hall, with the Charles Holland, Nancy Leach, and Martin Peters Young Awards presented during the dinner. The Student Enrollment Services held events for undergraduate students throughout the week, and the university also celebrated the dedication of 2 new residence halls on campus. The 2 village apartment buildings are named in honor of the historic LMU names Norton Hall and Peters Hall. Formal reunions were held Friday with the Diamond Grads brunch honoring the class of 1954, followed by the Golden Grads luncheon, which honored the class of 1964. The night closed out with an ice cream social and karaoke contest. Saturday was packed full of activities celebrating Lincoln Memorial University that kicked off with the Athletes Hall of Fame induction, followed by the reunion luncheon and family fun barbecue. A very special event also took place during homecoming with the dedication of the Anatomy Lab in the Hamilton Math and Science Building. The Anatomy Lab is named and dedicated to honor Dr. Neil Cross, the founding chair of anatomy at LMU DeBuss College of Osteopathic Medicine. Dr. Cross passed away in August of 2013. Dr. Cross specialized in the areas of human anatomy, comparative anatomy, physical anthropology, and human biology. Outside the classroom, Dr. Cross was an avid hunter, photographer, and motorcycle rider. He had a lifelong commitment to the study of human anatomy and instilled his passion for the subject in his students. The Anatomy Lab was conceived and designed by Dr. Cross, and as a result, his legacy will be felt by generations of LMU DCOM students. The Middlesboro Mall was painted pink last Thursday night to kick off Breast Cancer Awareness Week. Activities and highlights of the events included the Appalachian Regional Hospital educational sessions on breast health, breast cancer survivors wall, and a breast cancer memorial wall. The Paint the Mall Pink Committee gave a special thanks to all of those who donated items for their silent auction and also those who made donations. All proceeds raised during the Paint the Mall Pink event will be donated to the Susan G. Komen Foundation for Breast Cancer Research and Education. We would also like to remind everyone in the community that are planning on going to this Friday night's football games at both Claiborne High School and Cumberland Gap High School. Their games this week are pink out games in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So be sure to wear your pink to support the cause. Stay tuned. After the break, we will be bringing you some more interesting news from around the country and right here at home.
Hey, what did I do?
Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit.
Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave.
Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Get your ass up. You're not sitting here.
Yes, I am.
Move. Give it to him hard.
No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why are you stabbing me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how. Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Welcome back. Some sad news coming out of Tazewell today. Current City Councilman Harry Estes passed away early this morning in his home. Officers and paramedics were called to the councilman's home early this morning by his wife. The cause of his death is not being released at this time. Estes served as a councilman for several years with Tazewell and was re-elected to his seat in the November 2012 election for the town of Tazewell. We will continue to follow this story and bring you updates on the scheduling of his funeral arrangements. October is National Cybersecurity Awareness, and staying up to date is vital, especially with the massive data breaches over the past year at places like Target, Home Depot, and JP Morgan Chase. Last year alone in the U.S., total losses from the identity theft totaled about $18 billion, with a new victim every 2 seconds. Just last Thursday, JP Morgan Chase and Company released that 76 million households and 7 million small businesses were compromised in a cyber attack in July. The stolen data includes names, addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses of customers who use Chase.com and JP Morgan Online and the Chase Mobile and JP Morgan mobile apps. The bank says there is no evidence that the breach included account numbers, passwords, social security numbers, or dates of birth. It also noted that it has not seen any unusual customer fraud stemming from the data breach. JP Morgan Chase is the largest U.S. bank in terms of assets. It discovered the breach in mid-August and said it began as early as June. The server breach follows data thefts that have hit financial firms and major retailers this year, adding to consumer concerns over the risk of identity theft and fraud. The average price for a gallon of gas in Tennessee is now at about $3 a gallon, but that isn't the only advantage drivers are saving money at the pump. According to a new report, model year 2013 vehicles hit an all-time high for gas mileage with an average of just over 24 miles per gallon. That's up nearly 5 miles per gallon over the last decade and shows automakers are continually working to improve fuel economy, according to Will Toole with the Southwest Energy Efficiency Project. As of the year 2025, in the U.S., better gas mileage will have a positive impact on reducing the emission that causes climate change. The EPA projects that the increased fuel standards will double fuel economy by 2025, cut vehicles' gas emissions by half, and save Americans $1.7 trillion at the gas pump. Mine safety detectives continue to work at determining what caused the mining death of a Claiborne County man. 31-year-old Justin Mize of Harrogate was killed at the Nally and Hamilton mine last Tuesday. According to the Kentucky Division of Mine Safety, Mize was trying to retrieve a broken chain in a 68-foot hole when he was hit by a rock. Mize was a father of 3, an older brother, and his family continues to mourn his death. The spokesperson for the Kentucky Division of Mine Safety says Mize had 13 years experience and worked 2.5 years at the Bell County site with Commonwealth Mining Company. Officials say the Commonwealth Mining Company has had no other reported accidents since opening in 2011. Mine safety officials say miners who witnessed the accident are currently being investigated and interviewed, and the mine is being inspected. It will take a couple of weeks to complete the entire investigation. Officers with the Claiborne County Sheriff's Office are currently investigating a meth lab that was located last Thursday. An officer with the department certified to identify methamphetamine confirmed that the drug was located in the Dogwood Heights community. The officer that located the substance was on another call when he found the product in a bag. It was taken to the Claiborne County Sheriff's Office where it is being held for evidence. The officers are currently working on several leads that could lead to the arrest of a suspect who cooked the product. If you have leads that could help the officers locate the person responsible, or if you suspect drug activity in your neighborhood, call the Claiborne County Sheriff's Office at 423-626-3385. All calls do remain anonymous. Well, with all the rain that we've seen over the weekend, let's turn to Adam Haley and see how the sports team worked through all that weather.
Well, we're going to start on the field, the soccer field that is, where the women's soccer team was in Charlotte, North Carolina to take on Queens University. Coming into the day, the ladies were the hottest team in the conference winners of their last 6, while the Royals were looking to move out of the middle of the conference. After waiting out a thunderstorm for over an hour, the game started and LMU came out firing, putting up 7 shots in the first half compared to Queens' 2, but the teams would stay scoreless through halftime. The second half would see 17 total shots, but both teams once again would be scoreless, and the two teams would head to overtime and eventually double overtime before having to settle for the 0-0 tie. LMU is now 7-2-1 on the season and 5-1-1 in SAC play. The men's soccer team was also in Charlotte to face Queens. Both teams came out firing shots left and right at the goalkeepers, as there were 10 saves alone in the first period. But just like the women's game, it was scoreless at halftime. Both teams would once again not be shy about putting the ball toward the goal, and finally in the 62nd minute, LMU's George Burns scored off a deflection to give LMU the only goal of the game, and the Rail Splitters will pick up the win 1-0. LMU is now 6-3-2 on the season and 3-2-2 in the SAC. Both soccer teams will be back in action on Saturday when they play host to Anderson. The Lincoln Memorial University volleyball team spent the weekend on the road as they traveled to face Newberry on Friday night. Neither team could really pull away from the other in opening set, as they were only separated by a couple of points throughout before the Wolves took the opening set 26-24. Sets 2 and 3 would go to LMU 25-16 and 25-21 before the Wolves clawed their way to a fourth set win 25-23 to force a fifth and deciding set. LMU would jump out to a 9-1 advantage before taking the set 15-9 and the game 3-2. On Saturday, the volleyball team moved over to Anderson, South Carolina to face the Trojans and once again found themselves in a battle. LMU would roll to a set 1 win of 25-12, but the rest of the day would not be as easy. Anderson charged back to take set 2 25-23 before the Lady Rail Splitters took set 3 25-19. Needing only one set to complete the weekend sweep, LMU found out how hard it is to win on the road, as the Trojans would take set 4 25-21 and finally set 5 15-8 to win the match 3-2. The Lady Rail Splitters are now 10-9 on the season and 6-5 in conference play. They'll be at home this weekend as they play host to Catawba on Friday night at 7 p.m. and Queens on Saturday at 2 p.m. Now, it's very quickly, let's finish up sports in the world of high school football by taking a look back to last Friday's scores. As you can see, Scott had the better of Claiborne on homecoming night. They knocked off the Bulldogs 42-2. It was Gatlinburg-Pittman holding on late to defeat Granger 28-24. Campbell County had to come from behind. They knocked off Gibbs 14-7. It was Kings Academy over Union County 44-8. And Southeast Kentucky, Middlesboro dropped their third consecutive game. They fall to Lexington Christian 36-18. And Pineville wins their second consecutive. They knocked off Jenkins 36-28. A reminder, our Old Town Grill Game of the Week this week will be back at Bulldog Field when the Claiborne Bulldogs will play host to the Chucky Doak Black Knights. Once again, it's pink out night, so please wear your pink when you come out to Bulldog Field. That's going to do it for sports, but stay tuned. When we return, we'll have the entertainment report, Monique and Joseph. That's next here on LMU Tri-State News.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Did you take your medicine? Oh gosh, I forgot it.
Her nurse.
You need a claim number?
Her personal assistant.
Look, let me just grab a...
Her housekeeper. Her cook. Her accountant. When I started taking care of Mom, I didn't realize the challenge of playing so many roles. But above all, I'm still her daughter.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving to connect with experts and other caregivers. Together we can better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
Being that it's the month of Halloween, it's only befitting that our useless trivia question come from the show Supernatural. Early on in the TV series, one of the main characters, Dean Winchester, reveals his cell number during an episode. What unique actions was the studio prompted to make? Don't worry, we'll fill you in at the end of the segment. Seventh Heaven's Stephen Collins is being investigated for child molestation. Collins, most known as the role of Reverend Eric Camden, allegedly confessed to molesting young girls on multiple occasions in an audio tape obtained by TMZ. On the tape, the 67-year-old actor is heard recalling past incidents with the therapist and his ex-wife, actress Faye Grant, with whom he's in the midst of divorcing. Collins answered questions from both parties and shared specifics regarding the girls in question, such as their names and ages, all while being recorded without his knowledge. However, in California, it is legal to secretly record conversations in an effort to gather evidence if the person is believed to have committed a violent felony, and molesting a child under the age of 14 counts as such. The actor admitted that he molested an 11-year-old girl from New York who was a relative of his first wife. He also shares that he had exposed himself to the same girl a couple of times for 2 years following the initial molestation. After the tape was released, Faye Grant said, "I woke up today to learn that an extremely private recording I handed over to the authorities in 2012 per their request in connection with the criminal investigation was recently disseminated to the press. I had no involvement whatsoever with the release of the tape to the media." Collins has since been fired from the upcoming sequel, Ted 2. His role on Scandal and reruns of Seventh Heaven have been pulled. If the surprising news of Reverend Camden isn't enough, Seventh Heaven and 90210 actress Sarah Goldberg has died. The Chicago Sun-Times released a statement from her family noting Goldberg died in her sleep of natural causes at their Wisconsin cabin. The actress was 40 when she passed away on September 27th. According to Deadline, Goldberg started her career in her native Chicago before moving to California. Since then, she's landed roles in Jurassic Park 3 and recurred on Judging Amy before joining the Seventh Heaven cast. After the show ended, Goldberg claimed roles in shows like CSI, House, and recurred in several episodes of 90210. Michael Phelps is facing consequences after his second DUI arrest. Phelps was arrested in Maryland on September 30th after reportedly driving under the influence with excessive speed and crossing double-lane lines within the Fort McHenry Tunnel on I-95. Now, the 18-time Olympic champion is suspended for 6 months from USA Swimming and forced to withdraw from the 2015 FINA World Swimming Championships in Russia next August. During his suspension, Phelps will not be paid. Shortly after his arrest in Maryland, the 29-year-old broke his silence on Twitter, voicing his regrets. Earlier this morning, I was arrested and charged with DUI, excessive speeding, and crossing double-lane lines, Phelps shared in a series of tweets. He also tweeted, "I understand the severity of my actions and take full responsibility." Phelps has since decided to seek treatment. He quoted, "I recognize that this is not my first lapse in judgment, and I'm extremely disappointed with myself. I'm going to take some time away and attend a program that will provide the help I need to better understand myself." With 18 gold medals, Phelps is the most decorated Olympian ever. After the break, we're going to check in with Joseph Lewis on what exciting new movies are coming your way this weekend.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Hello, I'm Joseph Lewis, bringing you all the latest information in the world of movies. Tops at the box office last weekend included last week's winner Gone Girl, holding strong at #1 with an additional $27 million, bringing its total domestic gross to nearly $80 million after just 2 weeks. Following at number 2 was the action horror film Dracula Untold, starting its run with $23.5 million, and while that's a solid opening figure, it still has a long way to go toward recouping its $70 million budget. And rounding out the top 3 was Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day, which had a run of good days at the box office, easily bringing in $19 million with minimal competition from other family-oriented fare. Coming to theaters this week is Fury, a World War II film written and directed by Training Day scribe David Ayer. It's April of 1945, and Brad Pitt stars as Don Collier, aka War Daddy, a hardened sergeant who leads a small troop into battle on a tank nicknamed Fury as the Allies make their final encroachment upon Nazi Germany. There's a lot of talent among the supporting cast, including Michael Pena, Shia LaBeouf, Logan Lerman, Jason Isaacs, and John Bernthal, and audiences can certainly expect intense action and character drama. Fury opens this Friday, October 17th. Also opening this week is The Book of Life, an animated film from Jorge Gutierrez, the creator of Nickelodeon's acclaimed series El Tigre, The Adventures of Manny Rivera. Set against a Day of the Dead holiday backdrop, the film follows the journey of Manolo, a sword-wielding guitar player who falls for Maria, a beautiful girl who's also captured the attention of the charming yet devious Joaquin. As Manolo and Joaquin battle it out, the spirits La Muerte and Xibalba take bets on who will come out on top in this love triangle. Diego Luna, Zoe Saldana, and Channing Tatum voiced the 3 leads, along with Ron Perlman, Christina Applegate, and Ice Cube in supporting roles. The Book of Life can be seen in theaters this Friday. Next up is The Best of Me, a new Nicholas Sparks adaptation in which James Marsden and Michelle Monaghan star as Dawson and Amanda, 2 former high school sweethearts who, after 20 years of having left their old lives behind, return to their hometown and have a chance meeting. The film details their past experiences while also following what happens when they decide to rekindle their relationship. The Best of Me begins playing this Friday. Lastly, opening this week in limited release and soon to expand is Birdman, the first film in 4 years from Mexican film director Alejandro González Iñárritu, the terrific talent behind Amores Perros, 21 Grams, Babel, and Beautiful. Michael Keaton stars as has-been actor Regan Thompson, who after years of being known only for playing iconic superhero Birdman, attempts to make a comeback in the form of a Broadway play. As his life hurtles toward opening night, he finds himself struggling to save his fledgling career and his collapsing family, all while trying to keep his bloated, destructive ego in check. Edward Norton co-stars as an actor trying to steal Regan's thunder, and Emma Stone plays his long-suffering daughter recently released from rehab. Birdman has been gathering universal acclaim since its film festival opening in August, and with an exciting trailer that creatively blurs the line between reality and fantasy, it is quickly setting itself up as a must-see film. Birdman can be seen in select theaters this Friday, October 17th. Finally, the month of October is upon us, which means that Halloween is right around the corner. So for the rest of this month, I will be highlighting various overlooked or underseen horror movies now available for streaming on Netflix Instant. This week's selection is Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, a grisly independent film from director John McNaughton in which The Walking Dead's Michael Rooker stars as Henry, a stoic man with a troubled past who also happens to be a prolific and merciless serial killer. Operating without consequences alongside his prison buddy Otis, Henry masterminds a series of intentionally disconnected murders, each one carried out with a different but equally disturbing MO. As Henry's crime spree escalates and he becomes involved in a sort of deranged kinship with Otis's sister Becky, tensions rise to a boiling point and prove just how cold and unforgiving Henry can be. The MPAA slapped this movie with an X rating upon its original release in 1990, and its graphic, no-punches-pulled scenes of slaughter make it easy to understand why. The film isn't gratuitous or exploitative, however. It seeks not to glamorize the life of a serial killer, but rather to explore and observe the motivations involved in such brutality. Rooker's Henry is reserved and intimidating, communicating considerable threat even in scenes where he's perfectly still and silent, and his involving performance becomes key in making the audience borderline complicit in Henry's actions, almost as if the film seeks to challenge the habits of horror fans as well as its characters. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer is absolutely not for the squeamish or the easily disturbed, but as a riveting exploration of the macabre, it is essential. That's all for this week in the world of movies. I'm Joseph Lewis, and we'll be back after these messages.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
In local entertainment, the University of Tennessee isn't the only place to catch a performance of The Miracle Worker. Middlesboro Little Theater is bringing it right to our back door. The production's run starts on October 22nd with nightly performances at 7:30 p.m. and will end on the 26th with the Sunday matinee at 2:30 p.m. All performances will be held at the Central Auditorium in Middlesboro. Tickets for The Miracle Worker are available for purchase at the door. It's time for some hockey. The Knoxville Ice Bears start their season on October 17th with an exhibition against the Fayetteville Fire Ants. The home game starts at 7:30 p.m. and goes until 10 p.m. If you would like to attend this game or any other games, visit KnoxvilleIceBears.com. Bret Michaels is coming to Knoxville in just a few short weeks. The Cotton-Eyed Joe has announced Michaels will be performing live at the Joe. Michaels is most notorious for his time as the lead vocalist of the glam metal band Poison. Since his time with Poison, Michaels has released a few solo albums, which include Songs of Life, Custom Built, and Jammin' with Friends. Some of his most famous songs will flood the room on Saturday, November 1st, and if you're interested in attending, visit CottonEyedJoe.com for ticket prices. Turning back towards our useless trivia, Jensen Ackles' character Dean Winchester's phone number is mentioned early in the show Supernatural. This prompted the studio to set up the number, enabling anyone who dialed it to hear Ackles' voice reading the message. This is Dean Winchester. If this is an emergency, leave a message. If you're calling about 11283, page me with your coordinates. The number is 1-866-907-3235, but I wouldn't call it if I were you. The number now leads to a fax machine with an unknown location. That's it for entertainment this week. This has been Monique Derico bringing the world of entertainment to you.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Preventing wildfires. That's all Smokey wants for his 70th birthday.
And that's going to do it for LMU Tri-State News. Thank you for joining us. For everyone behind the scenes, I'm Ashley Hurley.